I love the fact that this little guy is listening more. He's just about to run after a truck. He's getting trained, y'all. I'm pretty proud about that. He's getting trained. He's been trained by this older couple that I left him with when I had to leave Florida, which is something I'm gonna also discuss in another video on why I left and what brought me back. But this video I want to talk about why I choose to homeschool my children. Initially, I was just going to do one, and then one of my other older children, my older son, came out the blue and asked if he can be homeschooled, and I'm like, sure, why not? I've worked in schools. I know other parents that experienced things, and even had to talk to some of my own siblings about buying bullet shields for their backpacks for the kids when they go back. One for my own nephew because of the, well, we already know because of all the shootings and the random stuff that's been going on in these schools, right? So my main reasoning was not just that. It's always been the fact that I've had bad experiences. One particular is with my younger son, who seems to have a learning disability. And they say, don't speak those things if you don't want it to be. Well, it's a fact. He's very smart, he's very intelligent, he's a fast learner, but when it comes to certain subjects, he cannot retain. We're working on him being able to retain, just put it like that. And for a long time, he was bullied because of it. And in our Black community, unfortunately, the first thing we do is take our weaknesses and down somebody about them and make them feel bad about it. So one of the things that I didn't really realize that happened, that I didn't connect the dots with, was when he was a newborn, and I had to take him to the hospital. And I'm gonna shout them out. Winnie Palmer, what's up? In Orlando, Florida. Took my son to the hospital. He was only maybe 7 months old, 6 months old, probably younger. This was, he was a newborn. I'm just put it like that. And he turned a different color in his face. He would always struggle to breathe. Took him to Winnie Palmer, and they pretty much treated me like I was some nutbag wasting their time because they couldn't figure out why I brought my child there in the middle of the night, saying that he couldn't breathe and he was turning blue in the face, or turn his face color change. I can't remember what color it was. I just know that I knew right then that something wasn't right. It took me almost a good couple months to find a specialist just to say, yes, your child needs surgery. He would stop breathing, and his flaps, the flaps that open and close that allow us to breathe, would overlap and keep him from breathing. Okay, so what we had to do was get him surgery immediately. So before he turned 1, he had multiple surgeries for hernias, for them putting him to sleep. And even when we was going through that, I had demons that I had to pray out of his room because they was coming at me saying that he was a terrible patient and stuff like that, which back then, like, I wish I would. This was 2013, y'all. I wasn't one of those, and I'm just recently starting to be one of those that record everything. And I didn't. And but I did pray them up out of that room because at the time it was just me. And that was something I had to forgive my family about because they were not there. Not the whole entire week that he had to stay in that hospital. They did not show up. And I went through a real tough time with that because it was very tragic. It was him almost dying, losing too much blood, having issues with anesthesia. You name it, it happened. Like, because they had to put him to sleep, of course. And then they wanted to do, when he semi-recovered, they wanted to do the same surgery again. And then they wanted to do some stuff with his stomach having a hole in it. They wanted to put cameras all up his anus and all kind of other stuff like that. And numerous tests that they'd have to draw a lot of blood and do all kind of testing on different allergies and stuff like that. And I had enough. I had enough because he was small, he was weak, and both of us was mentally drained. when you get tired and fatigued, you lose your consciousness a little bit. When you can't think, your brain suffers, and basically that's what he suffered from. When they discharged us, they did tell me he's gonna need to see a psychiatrist. And me, young, in my 20s, I don't even think that had anything to do with it, but just me not connecting the dots and just already overwhelmed with everything that was going on. I don't, if I had to think back on it, I don't think I really took it serious, because I was just like, what does a psychiatrist have to do with the fact that y'all just, you know, almost allowed my child to pretty much die, because I kept getting turned away. And then when one person that had a brain finally said something about him needing surgery, we were constantly in the hospital, constantly in the doctor's office, constantly doing follow-ups, and then just come to find out that he had asthma and needed to take a Bruterol and a Pulmicort for a couple years. And he's trying to wing himself off of it, because he's like, I can do this, I can do that, I can do what other kids do. I don't have asthma anymore. But we keep it nearby, because I love the fact that he wants to be completely healthy and he wants to be free from all of that. I get it. But again, we've been in situations where it's been too hot and he overheats easy. So yeah, it takes me to have to go on these walks to really just explain everything that that I had to encounter with negligence. And these people are, they have this protection on them because they know they mess up. They mess up a lot. I got a story to tell about. I could tell y'all a story about how my mom had just got released from a hospital and almost died. Discharged from the hospital, and then turned around and had brain aneurysm not even 5 minutes later, and had to get airlifted to a different hospital for a neurologist. I could tell y'all about that. And I could tell y'all about the block surgery I had. And that's something else I have to forgive people about. Lord, take the unforgiveness out of my heart if I'm holding anything against any of these people. But I'm just saying, that's part of the reason. I tend to forget why I made the whole video, but that's part of the reason why I'm choosing not to homeschool him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm choosing to homeschool him. I'll take that back. I'm choosing to homeschool him and not allow him to go to these schools. I've even overheard teachers, talking crazy about him and the fact that he just wasn't getting it. And I got to the point where I was just like, stop allowing him to pass to the next grade if he's not getting it. And I just felt like they didn't care. So he's gonna be, as tough as it is. If you're a parent, you gotta spend every waking day, moment, hour, second with your child, and not to be at all insensitive about any parents out there that lost a child or that's going through whatever they're going through. That's not at all what I'm doing. I'm just saying, like, I know the challenges of that, but I choose to do it because my child needs the help. He needs proper help, needs that hands-on, one-on-one. And that brings me to another point. It's just like every job that I've been on or tried to get, it's almost like it doesn't work for me. I'm not putting that out in the universe. It is what it is. It's almost like God is trying to tell me, look, you got to do something else, because you can't work for these people. And I can tell you about the last job. The last job I was on, when I had to leave town for a little bit and I had to go make some money because my savings was done, I felt like a slave. Everybody in my face, hi. But I felt like just another number. I felt like a slave. I felt like I didn't belong. And eventually you're gonna leave, because nobody wants to get up every day feeling like if you're not there, you're going to be hated, or you're going to be talked about, or you're going to be, it's going to be like evil energy directed towards you because you wasn't where you're supposed to be. And if it was back in the day, you would have had a whip to your back. Like, I feel like that's most companies. And if you can't commit to them every hour that you're supposed to be there, which it does show responsibility, it does show that you're supposed to. It does show what you're supposed to show, basically, like ability to be available. They ask you that when you get before you start or whatever. But at the same time, these same people that hire you have lives too. They not unless they're not human. They have personal things that happen. They have things that go on. They have traumas. They have family emergencies. They have car issues. They have all kind of stuff that will enable them to be everywhere they need to be. Only missed one day from that job, to tell you the truth. And I had just literally had got back in town, going on a trip with the people I was in Texas with, going on a trip with them, and I was just beat. I was tired, and I barely got the sleep that I needed. So I chose not to go that day. And that was like the only day I missed out of the entire time I was there. And I just felt like a real bad energy after that. But needless to say, your kids need you. I don't care what, you got to give up. These schools, man, like the stuff that they're showing in these videos is almost unreal. Like, how are y'all allowing trans and all kind of other, I can't even keep up with the titles. And that's another thing about these titles. I gotta make a video about these titles, because I had a person that put me in collections because I called them sir. But that's a whole other video. I got a lot of them that I can keep coming for y'all. But like, there's too much going on in these schools, and they okay with it. So we can't pray in these schools, but y'all got the twerking and dropping it like a hot twat, split it open, lay it low, spread it wide, dancing and gyrating going on and all in front of these kids. Like, what are they learning from that? What are you learning from watching people cross-dressed in schools? What are they supposed to be getting from that? What is that supposed to be helping them with? So I'm not homophobic. I love what the Lord loves, and I hate what the Lord hates. And that's just straight foolishness to me. So I do choose to bring my kids up out of there. And I had a lot of people, including so-called family of theirs, tell me that I was wrong and it was stupid for me to put them in homeschool, because they need to be able to experience the proms and the homecomings and the games and the blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, thank you for your opinion. Okay. At the end of the day, I got to undo so much trauma, so much negativity, so much. They're coming to me telling me they want to be homeschooled. Now, I'm giving them the option. Definitely would, as far as how my pocket's set up right now, go get y'all some free lunch. Even though it's not all that nutritious, and it's not, I mean, granted, somebody had to put it in perspective to me, like, okay, sometimes that's the only outlet for a kid. Actually was one of my brothers on my dad's side. Shout out to Jermaine. He had to tell me, he was like, unfortunately, that's the only means of some kids eating is by going to school. I get it. But I also get the fact that a lot of this stuff is not healthy and it's not nutritious. But back to my point that I was making. This dude always distracted me. But back to the point that I was making. Yeah, they coming to me. One of my younger ones was like, because I was just like, hey, y'all can go if y'all want to the school just until I finish what we got to do and we out. And she was like, the teachers are really mean. The staff is really mean. To new kids too. It used to be where the new kids get a little, they get the little, they get the soft talk and the a few passes because they knew they need to be shown the road. No, all of y'all get cussed out. First day, it don't matter. No, you better catch on real quick. Because I'm already frustrated and I don't want to be here and I'm just here for a check type of attitude. Like, I said, okay, you don't have to go back. I said, would it be easier if you had your siblings go with you? Because at the time they weren't living with me. That's a whole nother story, and I'm gonna ask God to give me strength to talk about. Some real demonic stuff happened with that, but she was going by herself, And I thought maybe that's the reason why she didn't want to go back. I was like, well, now you got 2 siblings that can go with you, and she still didn't want to go. So that lets me know it was something up with the school for real. And I saw it. I heard stories. I don't staff members tell me, parents. I'm sitting in gas stations, and they telling me how fentanyl was in schools, and some kids brought it in, and some of the staff members, substitute teachers, was telling me how they purposely got students suspended and because they couldn't stand the parents. You name it, I've heard it. And I was my jaw dropped simply because they thought that it was cool to even tell me that. I don't really plan to bash anybody. I'm not even apologizing. It's just, it is what it is. Y'all don't know the people I'm talking about, no way. It's more so like, it's just getting darker and darker out here. Yes, we supposed to be the light. We supposed to be the light in a dark place. But I'm gonna choose to out this one because we did all that. Every school we went to. I have a son right now that's, by the grace of God, defeating porn. I'm gonna give this quite quick story and I'm out. He literally went to a school. I loved this teacher. She was one of my favorites. There's some good ones that stick out, but she left. She quit. And rumor has it was because another kid, but the parent wasn't doing nothing about the kid, so she left. I guess her sanity was more important than the fact that the school didn't have her back or whatever. May have you. I don't like starting rumors, but that's just what it was. But she was a sweetheart, and I actually really liked her spirit. But after she left, everything went downhill. Half the class got expelled because they were on the school computers looking at porn. This was my son's 4th grade year. So while he's in that school, seeing half the class getting expelled, he goes and get curious and want to do the same thing. Guess what? He gets expelled. Have to go up to school and talk to Mr. Bacon, his brand new teacher, and also his principal, which I don't know why I hadn't met before then, but he happened, because I think I was dealing with the assistant principal, but he happens to be, and both of them. So I was like, but let me rewind all that. I was told, thank you, Holy Spirit, I was told to get them out of that school. And guess what I did? I procrastinated. I said, winter break is about to come up. I'll look for them a school over winter break. In a matter of days, probably, I don't even think it was a matter of days, I learned my lesson because he got expelled before I had a chance to take him out. Stop running up on me. Crazy. Y'all, this dog done gave me 2 heart attacks. Come on. So, yeah. And that's what brings me back to, that's what brings me, I'm trying to catch my breath. That's what brings me back to being obedient. That's what brings me back to being obedient. Be obedient. If he tell you to do something, he meaning God, G-O-D, your creator, your father, do it. He sees stuff before you see it. So I had to end up dealing with a very stressful season of him being very curious, going off, being very curious, being standoffish, being angry, being depressed, being, shutting down, being, upset and confused and just all kind of stuff. Because this new thing hit him and he didn't know what to do with it. But back to, these points, I literally buried them in my mind. Like I forgot because so much crap be happening in my life. I do be forgetting stuff. But the fact that this stuff is coming back to me, I didn't even mean to make this video that long. But this is stuff that we deal with. I'm not bashing public school. I went to public school. But they had experienced both public and private and Christian academies and also online learning. And this time I'm going about it a little different. Got a quick testimony before I get off. I would just, we always pray, ask to be led. I got up yesterday, went to the library. Didn't know I was going to run into a lady that came in not even 5 minutes after I did, sat down, and she was doing some online paperwork for her kids to do homeschool. So we got to talking. She gave me all the information. Whether I use it or not, I just felt like that was confirmation. one thing I do believe in is confirmation, and it just took the anxiety that I had away. I am a parent that's trying to look out and have the best options for their futures, because our children are the futures. I have to take a full responsibility in knowing if I don't raise those kids right, they ain't gonna be good for me, you, or this world. And we need the way that this internet set up, and the way that a lot of these young parents set up, got their household running. We in a little bit of trouble. So that's my duty, to try to raise some decent kids. Yes, they're gonna have to be redirected all the time. Yes, they're gonna have to be retrained all the time. Yes, they're gonna have to get taught over and over and over the same thing. But as long as I know I ain't throwing a towel, I ain't giving up, and I'm not giving in. I already saw you over there. Come on. I'm gonna keep working at it. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get somewhere and get cleaned up. I think I did enough walking for today and talking for today. But that's the reason why I choose to put these guys in homeschool. If y'all hear noise in the background, that's a trampoline. So it's so many other stories. I got I hate when I get sidetracked, that I got in me that I can share. I don't even know if y'all really, let me know. Comment in the comment section if y'all even want to hear me going like going in like this, or it's just like a girl shut up. But either way, it's for my healing, it's for my mental state, it's for me to release. Like I said, stuff gets so buried inside my mind because so much just be happening back to back that I forget. Sure, I could write a book about it, but I'd rather go on here and talk about it. So if you want to hear it, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share it, comment, let me know what's up. I do have another channel. I think I put it in my description. So if y'all want to check that out, if you can't comment here, I think that's the reason why I did make another channel, because you can't comment here. Comment over there. I'll probably start posting the videos over there as well. Like I said, this sometimes is difficult for me to do, to talk about a lot of personal stuff. This wasn't, one of those real personal ones. It wasn't one of those real dark ones. I did go through a lot of dark stuff with some of those situations, but if y'all notice that I'm walking in a lot of these videos, it's easier for me to de-stress while I'm doing something physical. So I appreciate y'all patience. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I definitely appreciate y'all subscribing and supporting my family. Go ahead and comment, go ahead and like, and I'll be back. I'm gonna come back and talk to y'all. All right, God bless y'all. Remember to pray, fast, talk to God, trust him, believe, and don't get upset when it's out of your control. You got to understand that all things work for the good of those that love the Lord. So I'm out. I'm going to practice doing the same thing, because right now I'm going through a test and I can really need and use some help. So until we meet again, be blessed.